everybody, welcome to Flip Side Therapy. I'm so excited today. I have two of my best friends today, and I just want y'all to introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Patricia Hernandez.
And I am Rolly Hernandez.
And I'm blessed to have them here on Flip Side Therapy, where we talk about anything self-awareness, alignment, awakening, and today the topic is marriage can work. And I don't know, I mean...
The jury's out.
The jury's out. But as two of my best friends, I will tell you, they just recently got married. You guys got married when?
When did we get married, dude?
November 18th.
And I was the lucky one to be able to, what was my title called? The
Officiant?
Officiant. Officiant. I was so nervous. Oh my gosh, when I did that.
You did so good.
Did I? Oh my gosh. Thank you.
You did great.
Thank you. So I thought it would be a great opportunity to kind of just dive into helping our listeners to understand, can marriages work? Okay? And so some of the things that I know that we've all talked about that snag us up in relationships are different topics that we'll bring out. But the first thing I want to talk about is this whole communication. And when we come together as partners in a marriage, how important is communication, would you say?
Oh, I think it's the most important thing.
Yeah.
Whether it's verbal communication or just reading each other's bodies.
Yeah.
Communication too.
Yeah. And do you find that you two have a great communication style?
Yeah, I think I can, for the most part, read what my wife is saying without her having to speak a word.
Really?
Her body language, yeah. 80% of the way we speak is nonverbal, and I can pretty much see everything in her face.
I feel like it's a work in progress. I think we know each other really well, but I feel like every day we're learning something new. And I feel like in learning that, we, at least for me, pause or try to pause before I necessarily react.
Yeah.
And that ends up being sometimes holding the line and just learning that sometimes he's more emotional than I am or vice versa.
Do you guys find it's true? I find in relationships that you give it a year, and you're meeting the person's representative. I like to call it, you're meeting that person's representative. You're meeting the very best. I don't have cheating problems. I don't have trust issues. But then after it, when the smoke clears, you're really, and we take off the mask and we really are seeing each other. We're really seeing each other. And this is a lot of work I do in therapy too. I always tell couples, it's so important to remember to stay in your own lane, to do the individual work, but also be honest and see clearly, what is my shit to own and what isn't. And so much of communication is we're imposing our truths onto each other. We get in each other's lanes, but I thought, you should do this and you should do that. It's wait, that's just our conditioning. That's just the way I did, because that's how it was known to me. That's so, how much of that comes into relationships,
I feel like so much of it is you're just enmeshed with each other, so it's hard to kind of sit back and remember, okay, this is what I would like, and this is what he would like. Just because it doesn't always align doesn't mean that I'm wrong or he's wrong. And I think that we're so, literally, everything is like this, and it's a beautiful thing. It's
right.
Newer for me than it is for him. He's used to, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, he's used to that, constant, all the time. That's just all the time. There's no real separation. And for me, I'm used to, being me, and then the other person being them,
right.
and then us having us.
Right.
And it's not that one's wrong or one's right. It's just newer for me.
Yeah.
So it's newer for me to want to be with him as much as I do.
Right.
I actually I want to be.
So
with
it's
my
really
partner.
stretching you and into new areas, stretching your So
and trying to understand that he's just used to something different, but I also don't want to lose myself in it either.
Right.
And that's where I struggle.
Yeah. So I guess it's how do we maintain our independence, and also be able to negotiate? I think is I don't like the word compromise. I like the word negotiate on things. Okay, you obviously like apples. I like oranges, but how can we make an apple orange slush? How can we meet in the middle on that?
Yeah.
Well, that's where I try to go and let her go for her runs and do her thing. She allows me also to go do my church, my men's group, things like that. But the biggest hurdle I have for me is seeing it as rejection instead of seeing it as her trying to, fill her own cup, per se.
Mm-hmm.
I go play basketball, I go to the gym, I go to my men's group. I try to do it at times where it would not interfere with me and her, but that's just what I do.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm used to cohesiveness together.
Right.
And when someone's excluding, it's kind of different. So it's just, I guess exactly like she said, learning what's normal, what's not, what she's used to, what I'm used to, the way we were raised,
Right.
and also the relationships we saw with our parents.
Yeah.
Both of us are from divorced households. Both of us have different parents. Like my dad got married. He got married one time. He's been married for 29 years now.
Mm-hmm.
My mom's been married multiple times.
Yeah.
It's a little different.
And we bring all that conditioning, all of that, and we bring kids into it in the mix, and it just it gets complicated. And it's not easy. But I always think if there's a willingness to talk things out, and to really know that we're on the same team. I see so many clients. I'm like, you guys, you forgot don't forget that you like each other. You know, like don't forget that you guys have a friendship first. You know, and that's so important. Don't forget date nights. Don't forget that it's not kids first all the time. You know, it's got to be the relationship.
We've definitely, I think that's something that I can say that he's really good at, and our kids are our whole world, but we definitely put ourselves before our kids, and we try to incorporate God too, which is huge. And I think God, us, and then our kids, and our kids see that, and I think that is a benefit to them to see people loving each other and making sure we're good, checking in with each other, giving each other affection. And then we're good, and so then our kids would be good.
Yeah. So if I'm in my alignment, then my kids will find their alignment instead of getting out of our own. What about when it comes to handling conflicts? You know, I think, I would like to have, if my partner Brian were here, we could have a four of the four of us, but there's oftentimes this kind of like, I'm more right than you are, and we can get in that cycle. And I talk about it a lot in videos. And it happens. I see it all the time.
Talk about that. You go first.
Well, so sometimes pride, I think, is the biggest thing that kicks in, and that's the biggest barrier that I have to break, is that pride barrier. Because for the most part, it's not the fact of saying you're right. It's the fact of saying, I'm sorry if I don't mean it. So it's more of not stopping yourself from actually being able to feel what you are feeling and sit back and listen to what you're actually saying before I go ahead and interject. And sometimes I just want to be like the lion in the den and whoa, and jump on top, especially when you start talking about our kids, or you start talking, or if I feel I took something personal, my claws come out first, so I gotta be like Wolverine and retract.
So it's about halt and then stopping.
What was the thing that kids talked about? Pet.
Pause,
it's called pause, exhale, talk.
Oh, it's so funny.
They
The
learned
kids
that
are
church.
teaching us, right?
They did. They learned at church.
That's great. Or halt. Am I hungry, angry, lonely, or tired before I speak?
I like that one.
Yeah.
Halt.
Halt. Go through a checklist and it's like go through a checklist. I mean, because we're just word vomiting all the time, and it's like, and is what I need to say even necessary? Most of the things we have to say is not even necessary.
Sometimes I just cut the cut.
Yeah, it's
Because I'm cut, I'm gonna stab you too. That's where the pettiness comes in.
But it's also
That's
learning that too. So he's very detail oriented. He very much will just correct you, and it's not always meant to be this like mean thing, but it's just the way that he is. He is just that way. It's just whatever it is, and he's gonna say it.
Yes.
And so I learned.
Is it always the best thing to though?
No, sometimes it's better to say less.
Right.
And I've learned that as I've gotten older, say less. And the problem is I still say less.
As the Tao teaches us, all is done in the not doing, and all is said in the not speaking. So when we hold sand lightly, it stays, and when we squeeze it, it wants to run out. And so we have to learn to let all things flow in their natural way. And it's really like, as you see your children, they have their own beautiful dance they do. You have your own beautiful music. You play your own beautiful music. It's a dance. And so how do we make this dance work where we're not just like clogged in just because it's out of my awareness, then it has to be this way. You know what I'm saying? So it's like okay, yes, I was raised a certain way, and then we get into a relationship, and it's like, just because it's not a way that's familiar